Now we're tied at 5 as we go to the bottom of the 11th. Here's Aaron Boone to lead off.
His first at-bat of the game. There's a fly ball deep to left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going to the World Series. Aaron Boone has hit a home run. The Yankees go to the World Series for the 39th time in their remarkable history.
That one's drilled deep to left field. There it goes. That ball is gone. See ya. A walk-off two-run home run for Alex Rodriguez.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bronx Benchwarmers Podcast. I'm Charlie.
I'm Max. And we're just two friends having conversations about Yankees baseball, so let's dig in.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 2. And we're excited to talk some Yankees baseball. Getting into spring training shortly, and I'm here with Max. And we're getting ready to talk about some pitching today.
Yeah, we got to address. Oh, wow, there's a lot to talk about right now with the pitching. I mean, Frankie Montas went down this week, which was pretty weird to me, because I don't know if this problem, arose right when he came into spring training, or if he had some injuries last season, but if the problem was bad enough, I feel like they had all this time in the offseason that he could have had this addressed. He could have had surgery. He could have been halfway through a rehab program and could have been expected back, maybe by, summertime or something, by July or but it seems like obviously that didn't happen. So it's kind of a big loss right now for the Yankees rotation.
Exactly, especially because the Yankees rely on a 5-man rotation, and they were supposed to have the best rotation in baseball since they signed Rodon, and but now with him being out, with Montas being out, Germán's going to be in there. But who's going to play when Germán gets hurt? God forbid one of them get hurt. Now you're in big trouble. Now you gotta search the free agent market at the trade deadline, and or you got to search, at the trade deadline and hope that another team is going to trade you something,
Yeah, I think we need to. I'm expecting. As us fans always do. I'm expecting, a routine season for Cole, and then a really big season from Severino. I think Severino's going to be. He's the one to watch this year. Coming back now, I think he's healthy. I've seen some images of him there at spring training throwing, and things that are looking really good. Nestor dropped out of the World Baseball Classic. I think he was having a little hamstring issue. I don't think
hamstring. It should be all right. He just needs to, watch out.
I think that the Yankees didn't want him to push that too much there in the Baseball Classic. So I'm hoping he should be fine. I know he's at spring training and participating and everything, but yeah, Germán's gonna have to step up, and he's shown some signs of being a really good starter over the last couple of years. And I don't know. I mean, I know, Clark Schmidt, I don't know if they're going to use Schmidt in later innings or if he's going to be a bullpen guy. Might be worth giving him a couple starts. I know, last year, I don't think they used Davy Garcia, but I actually had a chance to see Davy pitch a AAA ball out at the Syracuse Mets stadium there, and he looked really good when I had seen him pitching at that level. And when I was watching him pitch, I was watching him and thinking, this kid's a major leaguer, not a AAA player. So maybe they'll give Davy Garcia another opportunity. Yeah. So who else did we lose? Well, Chapman, obviously. We lost Chapman.
And we lost Montgomery, Montgomery was a solid pitcher. He'd have a great game, then he'd have an okay game. He might get bounced around, but he'd always bounce back. And he was consistent. He'd give you 5 innings, whether he'd give up 3 or 4 runs, he'd give you 5-6 innings. The Yankees would always have a chance to stay in the game.
Yeah, that's what Montgomery did really well. He always gave the Yankees a chance to stay in the game, and he was always good for like you said, 3 to 4 runs. He wasn't really a shutdown type pitcher, but he would keep you in a game, and he would always
Give
keep
you
it
a
within.
chance.
Yeah, he gave you a chance. He'd keep it within striking distance for the Yankees.
And don't get me wrong, I do like Harrison Bader. I think he's going to be a very key part of this team this year. As we saw in the playoffs last year, he pretty much was the entire Yankees team.
Yeah.
But I do think it was a good trade, but I'm sad to see Montgomery gone, especially now that Montez is injured. And we don't have much else. It used to be the bullpen the last couple of years was our strong point. We didn't need a good starting rotation because, we had Cole, who was going to win every 5 games. You could count on a win from Cole pretty much. Once through the rotation, you get him. If the other guys played decent, you'd still have the bullpen that could shut down. This year, our bullpen, we lost a lot of guys. We're going to have to rely on the starting rotation.
Yeah, we're going to need more out of our starters. And the Chad Green one was weird to me. I can't believe the Yankees let Chad Green go. I know he had surgery. I know he had the Tommy John surgery and everything, but Chad Green, I thought, was a staple of the Yankees bullpen. He was great for many years.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really weird having him come into the stadium from Toronto. That's going to be a weird, seeing
I know
Chad Green.
trading him to somebody, in your same league. Come on, in your same division.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that one's gonna come back to haunt us a few times this season. I think when Chad Green comes in to shut
He
games
was one of the
down.
most consistent relievers in baseball for the last several years.
Yeah, I was shocked that the Yankees let him. When I got that notification on Instagram, I was shocked. I was like, I kind of forgot about him for a minute because he was injured last season. But I think in the playoffs it really showed that Chad Green wasn't there. Because we were so used to having him in the playoffs over the last several years, and he's been, just so good. He was a workhorse, And when we lost him, that was kind of surprising. I wasn't ready for that one. The Tommy Kahnle edition, that's a good one. I guess the Kahnle edition sort of offsets the Green trade a little bit.
Yes, but I don't think the Yankees. I think the Yankees bullpen, in my opinion, is probably 60 to 70% of what it was last year.
Yeah, I think it's definitely taking some steps
They
back.
still need. They went out. They got Rodon, but he and him and Garrett Cole. From what I've read, there wasn't a year of an exact year of how long it's been, but it's been years, many years, since 2 of the top 3 strikeout leaders in the league for total strikeouts and strikeouts per 9 innings are on the same team. And Garrett Cole led MLB in strikeouts last year. And number 2 was Corbin Burns from Milwaukee Brewers. And number 3 was Carlos Rondon. And to have 2 guys like that, your number 1 and number 2 in the rotation, striking out, I mean, that's very impressive. It's gonna be very tough to beat them in a playoff series.
Yeah, and then don't forget, you're following that with Severino and Nestor Cortez. That's a real starting rotation. I think if the Yankees can get that 5th slot, figured out, that's going to be helpful. But I mean, if you can keep Cole Rondon, Severino, and Nestor Cortez healthy for a majority of the season, that's a killer rotation.
Exactly. Now, what do you think about the whole Loizica?
Yeah, Loizica is going to be really important this season too. I mean, he's going to have to step up for that Yankees bullpen. I thought he was really good in the playoffs. I thought he was fantastic in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think him and Loizica and Clay Holmes are probably gonna have to maybe
battle
compete.
it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, last year was such a bizarre season for Clay Holmes. I mean,
he started out. He
as an
couldn't.
all-star. He
Yeah,
couldn't
he
do.
couldn't give up a run if he tried.
No, he literally could not. I think he did some stretch of games. He didn't let up a run. I don't know if it was like 20 games or something.
It
But
was almost. I'm pretty sure it was in the 30s.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
off my head. I'll look that up in a second. But he was on a roll, and then all of a sudden he couldn't find the strike zone to
Save his
he
life. He
couldn't buy
couldn't
the
find it.
strike zone.
No, you're right. He couldn't buy the strike zone. So I don't know. I think Clay Holmes really has to earn Boone's trust during the spring training. I think he really has to show that he actually is that pitcher that we saw last season at the beginning of the season. And it wasn't even really just the beginning of the season. I mean, it was like all the way up to like the All-Star game. And then it just like after that was just kind of fell apart for him. Could not find the strike zone. And I think there could be a little bit of a battle for the closing role between Loizica, Holmes, and Clark Schmidt. And right now, I would say that Clay Holmes probably has the upper hand right now, and because he's shown that he can do that. But I think it's going to be a battle.
I do as well, and I just looked it up. Clay Holmes, he had 29 consecutive
Scoreless, yeah,
appearances.
29 consecutive scoreless. Yeah, how do you go from 29 consecutive scoreless to not being able to find the strike zone? I don't know. I think that shows what a mental game. I know I say it all the time, but baseball's a mental game. You're playing two games. You're playing the game on the field, and you're playing in your head. And I think maybe that's kind of what happened last year. You get in your head, you lose your mechanics a little bit, But I think that's going to be a battle for the closing role. That's going to be fought during spring training. I think it's going to be a little, or it could also be a bit of a platoon situation as well too, where the Yankees might not have a set closer now that Chapman's gone. And he went to Kansas City, and that was a weird departure of him just kind of ghosting the Yankees. I think a little bit last year. I think
Exactly.
I think it's like he made up his mind that like what, I'm kind of done with this. I don't really want to play for the Yankees anymore or something. There was not a lot of effort from him last year, and then him just kind of vanishing there towards the end of the season. So that's no I don't think right now. And but yeah, the Yankees are going to have to fill some of these bullpen roles and really find out in spring training, who's going to have the stuff for the later innings.
Exactly. I do think, going back to Chad Green, I do think getting rid of him is going to, come back to haunt the Yankees, because let alone not, and I'm not talking about, Toronto. I'm talking about the Yankees. If one of their starting pitchers this year gets hurt, they're already down Montez. If another one of them gets hurt, they could have used Green. Green was always, you could always start him and get a couple innings on him. He was a good bull. If you wanted a bullpen game, which a lot of the league is following that trend lately, to save their pitchers' arms and to save, having a 5-man rotation, they could have used Chad Green. They could have threw him in there as the 5th guy in the rotation and get 3-4 innings out of him, and then pitch the bullpen the rest of the game. But I don't see any other guys. Maybe Clark Schmidt. I don't see many guys that could pitch that we have right now in the bullpen that could give you 3-4 innings in a bullpen game and a start.
No, I think Chad Green was probably that guy. He would have made a good opener, but I think the Yankees are going to have to really fill that 5th starter position with a seasoned starter. Whether that's going out and getting one or we're discovering one during spring training.
Exactly. I think a lot is going to happen between now and the beginning of the season.
I'm hoping Nestor Cortez can continue being what he was last season.
I hope so too. I think he will. The only thing I'm worried about Cortez is his velocity isn't, he's not a high velocity pitcher, which is great. That's why he's so hard to hit. But my worrying comes from, I don't think that the league, I don't think it's going to take long for the league to finally catch on to his pitching style. It does help that he changes it up, and that's what I think is keeping him relevant right now. He does a great job at changing arm angles, changing his leg, doing these weird moves, which is good because you can't tell. I think if he keeps those up and keeps reinventing himself, I think he'll be one of the best pitchers on the Yankees rotation and in the American League like last year. But I don't think if he's, just with his velocity alone and his regular pitching, I don't think it's good enough to keep up in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we're just going to have to see play out. I don't know. The game is unpredictable. It's hard to know who's going to pan out and who's not. There's some examples of Yankees bringing in pitchers that seems like I think a great example is like the Sonny Gray trade. When the Sonny Gray trade came, I was thinking, okay, we're going to be World Series now, and he couldn't get an out. He couldn't get anybody out.
Nope, he was one of the worst trades we had. Hey,
it was.
Look at what was the one that we missed out. That everybody thought we missed out on about 2 or 3 years ago. Oh no, a couple more years than that. Our local guy from Central New York, Patrick Corbin.
The Patrick Corbin deal, yeah.
Patrick Corbin, he basically said no to the Yankees, his hometown team that he loved, and he said, nope, I'm not going to go to them. Yankees offered him like $90 million. He ended up taking, I think he took 120 or 125, something like that, million from the Nationals. And yeah, he won a World Series, but he had the worst. I think he gave up 7 runs in 2 innings in a World Series game, Game 5. He could not. The last couple of years, he's been one of the. Last year, he was one of the worst pitchers in the entire major leagues. He had the worst record, I believe.
Yeah,
at one point.
It's easy to sit there as fans and be like, man, I want this guy. We need this guy. We need this guy. But until it plays out on the field, there's really no way to know. What's coming in the future.
No, so. and don't get me wrong with Pat Corbin. He's he's a good pitcher, but he just. Who knows? He could have came to Yankees and he could have been a Cy Young winner 3 times.
Yeah, there's just no. That's the thing. There's just no way.
No way of knowing.
I mean, I know, like just today they said Steven Strasburg had another setback. Steven Strasburg they slated him to be, the next Nolan Ryan, and he got his World Series with Washington, but that's another one that has not panned out. And you just don't know until it plays out. You're fighting against the human body as well as the game on the field.
Look at Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez was the future. Yankees. Him and Judge together. They both started the same season, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, I think Judge came in like I think it was only weeks apart. I think
exactly, and. It was hard to tell who was going to be the better player. Sanchez was phenomenal too, and he. Don't get me wrong, Sanchez had a good couple of years with the Yankees. I did like Sanchez.
I still think that was a mistake. I still think it was a mistake trading him for Josh Donaldson. For
Josh Donaldson, yes. I do like Trevino now. I do think we needed somebody with more hustle and more. Drive. I don't think Sanchez has that much drive as
I have a soft spot for Gary Sanchez. I think just because I wanted it to work out so bad.
I wanted it to work out too.
And I just thought he was a really good kid, and I really like what he brings to the table. And there's no doubt that he's an elite major league catcher. Maybe he wasn't the right fit for the Yankees at the time, but that whole trade with Minnesota, losing Urshela last year too.
I think that was one of the craziest trades the Yankees have ever made. Was Gio Urshela. He was one of the best fielders that I've ever seen since I've been watching baseball.
Yeah, letting him go for a 38-year-old Josh Donaldson.
38-year-old Josh Donaldson. Gio Urshela too. If don't forget Max too. Gio Urshela. The year before the Yankees traded him, when they first signed him, they said, "Oh, he's just a Gold Glove or third baseman. He's okay at hitting." He ended up being a phenomenal hitter that year, way more than the Yankees expected.
Yeah, I was shocked when the Yankees let
they should have signed him and buttoned him down. They wouldn't have had to worry about Donaldson.
and then in reality, they got nothing in return.
Nothing. And now Donaldson's gonna. I do like Donaldson. I've liked him his entire career, but now he's gonna sit on the Yankees roster and take up a roster spot, and he's gonna take up money in the bank. Nobody is gonna buy out his contract.
Yeah, I don't.
Hicks.
That could be the Donaldson story could end up being lost money for the Yankees as well if by this summer it's not working, especially with guys like Volpe, Cabrera, and Peraza kind of looming there. And, LeMahieu as well, who can play third base every day. So LeMahieu's doing well. He's healthy. He's ready to play. So I don't expect a lot of playing time from Josh Donaldson this season if he's going to, have another season like he did last year.
Yeah. I mean, if they were only paying him, $2 million a year, and he was sitting on the bench and he'd occasionally DH, for Stanton on a day off or somebody, you know what I mean? That's perfect. But to pay him what they're paying him, which I'm pretty sure is double digits again. You can't afford to do that.
Yeah, and it's just another situation of just getting older and like we talked about on the last episode, just getting older. You just not being the same player that you were, and it's not a skills. It's not necessarily a skills thing. It's just your body telling you that it's time.
Exactly, and it's hard because you enjoy watching these guys. You almost are, you feel like you know them after watching them for so many years, and you feel it almost feels wrong to say, when they're at 38 to 40 years old and their time has come, it almost feels wrong to say, okay, Josh Donaldson shouldn't be there anymore or whatever, because you're trying to acknowledge everything he did for his entire career. And it's hard for me to say, okay, Donaldson's not good anymore, because I respect everything he did his entire career.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm hoping it works out. If not, he could, I think Donaldson is a potential trade piece in a package for a starting pitcher or bullpen guy, maybe a little bit into the season. So we'll have to see. But I think our like we said, starting's going to be good. Bullpen's iffy right now. We're going to have to see how it plays out. But it'll be fun to watch.
Alrighty. Well, I look forward to talking to you again on the next episode. In the meantime, pitchers and catchers just reported to Tampa this past week, so we'll keep an eye out for that and see what's in store for the Yankees this season.
Sounds good.
All right. See you later, man.
Yep. Have a good day.
Deep to left field. Going back, Cabrera. Looking up. See ya. He's done it. Home run number 50. No rookie has ever hit 50 home runs in a season till Aaron Judge right now. Bases loaded. Hits the stand. Swung on and drilled deep to left field.